Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to talk about things that you would expect to see after you apply for your I-485, which is Adjustment of Status application. I'll go through the expected timeline, I'll go through things that you will need to do, and some of the things that you could do to finally get your application looked at and made a decision on. So if you're interested in this topic, stay until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration related videos for US and Canada. I would like to mention that I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. Also, if you have a specific immigration need for yourself, please hire a competent immigration attorney. As always, if you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. Now let's get started. The last few days has been a hurricane in immigration system in terms of people who are waiting for their green card, especially from India and China. All of a sudden, employment-based priority dates have significantly moved forward in the visa bulletin. And to further sweeten the deal, USCIS has allowed the filing date charge to be used for October 2020. So what that means is now thousands and thousands of people are now eligible to apply for adjustment of status based on their employment-based petition, especially for EB1, EB2 and EB3. I made some videos in the last couple of days to explain some important tips that the prospective immigrants in EB2 and EB3 categories can look at in order to make an informed decision. One of them was the possibility of downgrading your application from EB2 to EB3. Now, as many people are applying or will be applying for their adjustment of status, which is I-485, in the next few days, I'll go through the timeline and what are the things that you can expect once you submit your application. Now I'll go through two scenarios. The first scenario is your priority date remains current throughout the adjustment of status process. Your priority date will not retrogress during this time. And then the second scenario I will go through is if your priority date retrogresses after you apply for 485. So let's look at the first scenario first, which is straightforward. Say for instance, your priority date is current based on final action date chart as of now. So although USCIS has asked us to use the filing date chart for now, I'm saying if your priority date is also current as per the final action date, it is very likely that your priority date will remain current throughout your adjustment of status. But on the other hand, if your priority date is current based on filing date chart as of now, you will still be able to apply for your 485, but there is a chance that your priority date will retrogress if it is not current as per the filing date chart as of now. Make sense? So let's talk about the first scenario. Say for instance, your priority date remains current throughout the process for adjustment of status. So what happens next? Within the first 10 days, you will get a receipt notice for I-485, I-765 and I-131, provided that you have applied all of these concurrently. So what are those? Those are I-485 is for adjustment of status, I-765 is for employment authorization card, and I-131 is for advance parole, which is the travel document that you will need in case you need to leave United States and come back while your adjustment of status process is in progress. So if you have applied for all these three applications, you will get a receipt notice in the mail within the first 10 days. So you should watch out for that. Make sure the address that you will specify on your I-485 is valid and current, because you are going to get a lot of important documents from USCIS from this point onwards, including finally your green card. So make sure your address is accurate. One more thing I would like to mention. Now that you have come this long way and all of a sudden you found yourself eligible to apply for I-485, feels great. You have been waiting for a long time and finally you see a light at the end of the tunnel in the form of I-485. Now you are in the final stage It will take as long as it takes, but the end result is going to be the same. You will get a green card unless you royally screw it up, which is a rare scenario. But this moment is something to celebrate. So when you see that receipt notice in the mail, make sure you celebrate this day because you have been waiting for this for a long time. But let's not get too excited. Let's move on. The next thing that happens within 2 to 6 weeks is that you will get another notice in the mail, and that is for your biometric appointment. Now this letter will be individual letter for each family member. It will have a place of your appointment to take your biometrics. It will also have the time and it will have the address. Now this address will be close by to you in a driving distance based on the address that you gave on your I-485 application. Now don't lose this letter. If you cannot make the appointment, make sure to call the number that is listed on the letter as soon as possible to reschedule your appointment. Remember, your timeline might increase if you reschedule your appointment. So make every effort to make this appointment. So on the appointment date for your biometrics, you as a family should go together. Each one of you should have 2 pieces of identification with you. One could be your passport, other could be your driver's license. In case of children, it could be their birth certificate and passport and whatever else that is prescribed in the letter. Once you arrive at the location, they will check you in. They will look at your original appointment letter. Remember to carry the original appointment letter that you received from USCIS. This is very important. Then they will have you sit and wait for your turn. Once your turn comes in, the officer will take your picture and take all of your fingerprints. Now remember, they will take each of your fingerprints, so all 10 fingerprints on your hands. Make sure there are no cuts or bruises on your fingertips. This is because otherwise it will invalidate your fingerprint and they will just have to reschedule your appointment, which will further delay your process. So make sure your fingers are clean and they are free of cuts or bruises. I don't mind if you even wear white gloves until the day of your appointment. I'm just kidding. So let's move on. After the appointment is done, that's what starts your background check. So unless you do your biometrics, your background check does not start. So if you reschedule or delay your biometrics, that will impact your timeline of entire processing. Now, after this begins a long wait. The wait could be significant. It could be a couple of months to even 1 or 2 years. It used to be that after the biometric appointment was done, you just wait for a couple of months and your green card would arrive in the mail. Not anymore. In 2017, all that changed. Now every applicant has to go through an interview process, and that's what comes next. The National Visa Center will process your documentation, make sure it is complete, and then forward your file to the nearest field office. That is where your appointment is. And this can take from a couple of months to even a year or more. So you just have to be patient for that. During all this time, if your date still remains current, then you will get an appointment letter for interview after a couple of months or up to a year. That appointment letter will have an address for the nearest USCIS office, which is called a field office, where your interview will be held. Now, I forgot to mention, after your biometrics appointment, you will get your EAD card and AP card, which is a combo card. It's one single card, EAD and Advance Parole. You'll get this card within a couple of months. It used to take anywhere between 2 to 3 months. But now expect to see delays even to receive this EAD and AP card. It could take up to 6 months to a year for you to receive this card. Now this card is a combo card. What it means is you can use this card as an employment authorization, and you can also use this same card for travel authorization. So if you need to leave United States and come back, the Advance Parole part of this card will allow you to re-enter the United States. Now, during this time, if you choose to maintain your non-immigrant status, which I highly recommend, you can choose to do so. Or else, you can wait until your non-immigrant visa runs out and then start using the EAD card. When it comes to this EAD card, it is your choice. But remember, they only give it for a year as per my experience. And then you have to renew this card every year. One thing, if you apply for your I-485 and EAD and AP on 1st of October, then you will not need to pay the fees for the first time for EAD and AP. But from October 2nd onwards, there is a separate fee for EAD and separate fee for AP per individual. So somewhere in between your biometric appointment and finally getting your appointment for green card interview, you'll get this EAD card in the mail. Now coming back to your interview appointment, you get a letter in the mail after about a year, and it will have the USCIS field office address, and it will also have the date and time of your appointment. Now make every effort again to meet this appointment. In case you have to reschedule, please call them ahead of time to reschedule. But remember, this is going to delay your final green card approval significantly. Now on the date of the interview, make sure you carry all your documentation, including your birth certificate, your degree certificates, your educational credentials, all of your previously approved non-immigrant I-797 forms, tax returns, and the list goes on. You will also find this list on your appointment letter. Your interview appointment letter will also have this list. But make sure you also check the USCIS website to get the comprehensive list of all the documentation that you need to carry for this interview. During the interview, they will ask you specific questions regarding felony charges that might disqualify you from getting your green card. They will have a series of questions that will take anywhere between 15 minutes to half an hour to cover. They will still read out each and every question to you and have you answer that verbally. Once your interview is done, and if it's successful, the visa officer will approve your case on the spot. It is very common that they would approve your case right after you walk out of that building, and you will get a notification from USCIS that your case has been approved and your card is being processed, which is the message that you will be waiting for a long time. In some cases, they may take time. If during this entire process, if your date has retrogressed, they may still call you for an interview while your date was current. And if the date retrogresses after your interview, you may be waiting for a while until your date becomes current again, because the visa officer cannot assign you a visa number unless your date is current. So that is the challenge that you will have in case you fall in that second category where your date retrogresses after you apply for I-485. So eventually after the interview, if your application is approved, you will see that status update in your USCIS file, and you will get your green card within the next week or so. So that's it. That's your final stage of green card process. I hope this video gave you a little bit of information on what to expect after you apply for your final stage, which is adjustment of status. If you have any questions, please list them down in the comments below, and I will try to make specific videos on those questions so that you can feel much more confident going into this final stage. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I wish you all the best. If you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you in the next one.